Hello, I'm Craig Brelsford. Welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with the executives of two public companies. First up is Connect Biopharma Holdings. Connect Biopharma is a clinical stage biotechnology company advancing innovative therapeutics designed to transform the treatment landscape for inflammatory diseases driven by T-cell dysfunction. The company's lead candidate, rademikibart, is a next-generation, highly differentiated monoclonal antibody targeting interleukin-4 receptor alpha, with potential applications in asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. These markets collectively represent multi-billion-dollar commercial opportunities. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is Bimergen Energy. Bimergen Energy is an independent power provider and project developer focused on utility-scale battery energy storage systems, or BESS, assets. The company owns 23 development stage BESS projects with a cumulative capacity of approximately 2 gigawatts. Bimergen's growth strategy, it centers on securing project financing, advancing construction, and partnering with institutional counterparties to operate under long-term offtake agreements, ensuring stable, contract-backed revenue streams. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Before we dive into our first interview, let's take a moment to recognize some of RedChip's top performers in 2024, including RedCat, up an incredible 1,293% in 2024. Alliance Entertainment, soaring by 842%, Gorilla Technology, which gained 250%, and Nova Minerals, up 149%. These companies have demonstrated the immense potential of the small-cap market. Before we move forward, let's take a look at RedChat, a revolutionary AI chatbot for small-cap stock analysis.
A new era of small-cap research has arrived with RedChip's RedChat, the fastest, most accurate AI assistant for small caps. The days of spending hours sifting through press releases, 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks, 13Fs, 13Gs, and other filings is over. Now, get answers in seconds on 4,000 small-cap stocks in one portal. Simple, fast, accurate, detailed answers. Meet small caps with RedChat.
Now, let's move on to our quote of the week. It comes from the book, Small Stocks, Big Money. Work hard, be a long-term thinker, develop tenacity, and remember, nothing happens without taking calculated risk. This quote comes from Phil Sassower of the Phoenix Group, and it is featured in Chapter 9 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with Connect Biopharma Holdings. Hello, we're here with Dr. Barry Quart. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Connect Biopharma, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol CNTB. Barry, great to have you back.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Connect Bio is targeting asthma and COPD, two very common and serious conditions. Let's start with a brief overview of your current pipeline.
Yeah, so we're developing a monoclonal antibody called rademikibart. It's a target IL-4 receptor alpha, which is the same target as Dupixent, a very well known and very successful product that's been out in the market for several years. We've worked very hard to try to improve on that product in several different aspects, and going after two of the same targets that Dupixent's approved for.
Now, you're going after both the chronic and the acute market for asthma and COPD. Why is that such a big opportunity?
Well, because all of the biologics that have been approved for asthma and COPD have been approved for chronic dosing. So that's basically maintenance therapy. Patients take the drug every month, trying to avoid an acute exacerbation, an asthma attack, or COPD exacerbation. Our product, because it works very, very quickly, has the opportunity to also be used to treat the actual exacerbation. It would be the only biologic with that indication. In fact, all the other biologics in their package insert explicitly say, do not use to treat an acute exacerbation. So we would have that market entirely to ourselves. There's over 1 million asthma patients and over 1.3 million COPD patients that go to the emergency room every year because of an acute exacerbation. So it's an extremely large market. There's been no innovation in this market for over 30 years. Patients are getting the same treatment they would have 30 years ago. And we believe with a new product, a new mechanism, that we can profoundly change how patients are treated.
Barry, I'm beginning to see just how exciting this opportunity must seem to you as CEO. You successfully completed the phase 2 study of rademikibart. Again, that's your lead asset, and it demonstrated superior efficacy and a favorable safety profile. What does that mean for Connect Bio moving forward?
Well, so that means that we have a product that's ready to go into phase 3 for chronic asthma, but we've kind of put that on pause while we're doing two studies to treat acute exacerbations. As I mentioned, a complete white space in terms of competition. No other products being developed in this space, and a very, very large market opportunity. So we have an established product that's demonstrated efficacy and tolerability, as you mentioned, but we are trying to broaden the use of that product to really have the most dynamic opportunity from a commercial perspective. I'll also note that we have licensed the drug to a large Chinese pharmaceutical company, and they've already submitted an NDA for the use of the product in atopic dermatitis, another area that the drug has been used in very successfully, a large market in China. We're not developing it for atopic dermatitis in the US because we believe that asthma and COPD for now are the optimal target and a very large market.
That makes a lot of sense, Barry. Let's turn now to management. You've built a U.S. focused leadership team with a track record of getting drugs across the finish line. What can you tell us about some of the key players on your team?
Yeah, happy to. It is really an awesome team. When I joined Connect in June of last year, one of my mandates was to bring in a team with much greater drug development experience and greater experience working with the U.S. investment community. And I've successfully really changed the entire management team. These are people that have worked with me at previous companies, sometimes up to 5 previous companies, with a deep bench of people who have successfully developed drugs. I personally have shepherded 9 drugs through at US FDA onto the market. Total, we brought about 20 drugs together. And so this is a team with a great history of success. And we are really excited to be working on a product that has such great opportunity for changing how patients are treated.
Not only do you have a deep bench, but you have a pretty good cash runway, Barry. It goes into 2027, and you already also have regulatory alignment already secured. Give us some key milestones that investors should be watching out for.
Well, as I mentioned, we're currently doing 2 studies looking at the use of rademikibart for the treatment of acute exacerbations of asthma and COPD. We're targeting obtaining top-line results from those studies in the first half of next year. Earlier than that, we hope to have information from a small pharmacology study that we're doing with IV rademikibart, trying to speed up the efficacy even greater. Right now, we see efficacy within hours of a subcutaneous dose. We're hoping to bring that down to minutes with an IV dose. And we hope to have that information by end of this year or early next year.
In summary, Barry, what is the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Connect Bio right now?
Well, because we have a drug that's clearly demonstrated excellent activity and good tolerability in a category where the lead product sells for about $14.5 billion a year. We've improved upon that product both from an efficacy and a safety perspective, and going after a unique indication that they don't have and we don't believe they have the ability to achieve. So we would have this market entirely to ourselves. And as I mentioned, with over 1 million patients going to emergency departments with acute exacerbations of asthma, 1.3 million COPD patients, this is a very large unsatisfied market. So a great commercial opportunity.
Great update, Barry. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Now, to get more information on Connect Biopharma, visit cntbinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Connect Biopharma. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies. And you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip CEO featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Before we move forward, let's take a look at RedChat, a revolutionary AI chatbot for small cap stock analysis.
A new era of small cap research has arrived with RedChip's RedChat, the fastest, most accurate AI assistant for small caps. The days of spending hours sifting through press releases, 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks, 13Fs, 13Gs, and other filings is over. Now, get answers in seconds on 4,000 small cap stocks in one portal. Simple, fast, accurate, detailed answers. Meet small caps with RedChat.
Now, let's move on to our next interview today with Bimergen Energy. Hello, today we have Bob Brillen, the co-CEO of Bimergen Energy. Bob, great to have you today.
Great to be with you today. Thank you.
Bimergen has quickly established itself as a player in one of the fastest growing sectors of the energy market, utility scale battery energy storage. What sets you apart from other players in the space?
What makes us different is we're not a manufacturer. So we're really focused on the battery energy storage solutions. And in this case, what we're building are battery farms, if you will, or AKA BESS facilities. That's BESS facilities. And these BESS facilities are there to take energy when it's low demand, put it into its system, hold that energy until there's high demand, and sell it back at a much higher price. The key part of this, as us being different, is we also now have $250 million committed from equity project investors. These investors now give us the opportunity to go out and really bring on about $1 billion in debt for these projects. Why this is important is each 100 megawatts of power that's in, say, one project is going to cost us about $125 million to build that and have the batteries in place. This really puts on the land of about 10 to 30 acres, depending on how big the project is. We have 2 gigawatts of BESS projects that we acquired back in 2024. That's really got us to where we are today. That's 23 different locations throughout the United States.
Now, the demand for electricity is expected to surge, particularly from AI driven data centers and electrification trends. How is Bimergen positioned to capitalize on this massive growth in power demand?
You're very correct. The demand for energy is growing at a rapid pace, and the acquisition of these 2 gigawatts of BESS projects puts us at the forefront. We also hired Cole Johnson and his team, who have been in this business for many, many years. Over 40 to 50% of energy is currently wasted because it's generated at hydroelectric, solar, wind, but yet it's only there when it's needed to be used. We have the battery system that it is then stored when the demand isn't there, but then it's there to put into the grid when the demand rises.
Now, Bob, would you please walk us through how long term offtake agreements and services like frequency regulation and energy arbitrage create stable, recurring cash flows?
Well, this is key for us because we as Bimergen don't want to be in that trading business. We take the conservative approach of bringing off takers on board, and these are tier one blue chip partners. And these are agreements we put in place. We negotiate up front what the floor is and how much capacity they're going to have available from us. So we know exactly what our revenue streams are going to be. And there is an upside to that also if there is very high peak demand, but the off takers are taking that risk. And we, for our shareholders, have de-risked it by having a floor and an agreed to amount that will be put into our revenue stream.
I like that, Bob. You're the red chip client and you're serving the blue chip clients. Love it.
Exactly.
Now, you've emphasized capital efficiency by securing financing at the project level. How does this strategy minimize risk for shareholders while positioning the company for scalable growth?
Well, because these projects are very large projects, for example, one 100 megawatt project will cost about $125 million of equipment to be put in place in construction. And so with that, that enables us to go out and find very high level tier one institutional partners that will be putting up 80 to 90% of that capital. That means our shareholders aren't having to get diluted because that is actual debt. We bring in equity partners, as I talked before, the 250 million that's already been committed. They'll come in and absorb the other 10 to 20% of the equity piece to make our debt guys really feel comfortable. And that then gives Bimergen, our partners, a piece directly and indirectly of those projects without being diluted.
Bimergen's management team brings decades of experience across energy, finance, and capital markets. How does that collective expertise give investors confidence in your ability to execute?
Well, as most of us know in the industry, the majority of investors will really bet on the been there, done that management team. And that's what we have in place. We have everywhere from the capital markets experience all the way down to the nuts and bolts of the construction in this battery energy storage solutions facility.
In summary, Bob, give us the essential value proposition. Why should investors take an interest in Bimergen right now?
Well, Bimergen is unique in that we have all the pieces in place. The $250 million commitment for this equity capital is that last piece of the puzzle that we needed to go out and get operations and construction beginning. We will start that construction of these projects almost immediately, and then operations will be following suit during 2026. And you don't get any closer than this to a ground floor. The company at this point has been public, but it also has been very quiet on the investor relations scene. Right now is the time for us to go out and talk about what we're doing. And it's because we do have that 250 million in place, it means we're going to now go execute. And our plan is to continue to communicate to our investors what the progress is. And then, as it makes sense, make sure that we have the investors fully in tuned as we get operational and as we execute.
Sounds really good, Bob. Welcome to RedChip, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, to get more information on Bimergen Energy, visit bimergeninfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Bimergen Energy. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met Connect Biopharma Holdings, CNTB, on the NASDAQ. Connect Biopharma is a clinical-stage biotechnology company advancing innovative therapeutics designed to transform the treatment landscape for inflammatory diseases driven by T-cell dysfunction. The company's lead candidate, rademikibart, is a next-generation, highly differentiated monoclonal antibody targeting interleukin-4 receptor alpha, with potential applications in asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. These markets collectively represent multi-billion-dollar commercial opportunities. Learn more at CNTBinfo.com. Then you met Bimergen Energy, BESS, on the OTCQB. Bimergen Energy Corporation is an independent power provider and project developer focused on utility-scale battery energy storage systems, or BESS, assets. The company owns 23 development-stage BESS projects with a cumulative capacity of about 2 gigawatts. Bimergen's growth strategy centers on securing project financing, advancing construction, and partnering with institutional counterparties to operate under long-term offtake agreements, ensuring stable, contract-backed revenue streams. Learn more at bimergeninfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small-cap stock portal in the industry. It has every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with market caps of $2 billion and less. And it's categorized by industry. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small-cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies. And you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.
RedChip. We build investor audiences for small cap companies, retail and institutional. 33 years, thousands of clients. We are experts in messaging. National TV ad campaigns, investor webinars, digital media, reaching hundreds of thousands of investors. RedChip. We do it well, we do it right, we do it big. RedChip. Call us or email us today.
A new era of small cap research has arrived with RedChip's RedChat, the fastest, most accurate AI assistant for small caps. The days of spending hours sifting through press releases, 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks, 13Fs, 13Gs, and other filings is over. Now, get answers in seconds on 4,000 small cap stocks in one portal. Simple, fast, accurate, detailed answers. Meet small caps with RedChat.